Hello, I'm Efnan, taking you through some of the things people are talking about and stuff they are sharing around the world. On Newsfeed today.
Oi, oi, Casanova! Having it quickly before your mates get home.
We'll tell you how the UK is trying to stop child pornography in a rather unexpected way. We ask whether artificial intelligence is ruining the fun we have. How frog robots will one day be used to heal us. And we'll introduce you to Subway Sally. An ongoing issue of children being continuously subjected to pornography is now being combated by a new campaign in the UK where young men are asked to report any images of children found on online pornography sites. This comes as the Internet Watch Foundation publishes a study stating that girls between the ages of 11 and 13 are increasingly being tricked into performing sexually over their own webcams.
Hey babe.
This is difficult to watch. It highlights how girls and young women are being groomed to post sexually explicit photos online. The UK's Internet Watch Foundation says 80% of the selfies it found trawling for images of child sexual abuse were of girls aged between 11 and 13. Over 3/4 of 18 to 25-year-olds watch porn. So, it came with a radical plan. With the help of the Marie Collins Foundation, it's launched #OneSimpleReport. The campaign encourages young men to report child pornography.
Oi, oi, Casanova! Having it quickly before your mates get home. Don't forget, if you do stumble across sexual images or videos of under 18s, it's dead easy to report.
Will this initiative work? This is what these young men think.
Yeah, I think so. You should be able to trace it and therefore kind of investigate where the images come from.
I want to say yes, but I don't think so.
Yeah, because they could get it taken down, right?
Probably not, to be honest. There's hundreds and thousands probably out there. I don't think one individual or more individuals just reporting it's going to make a difference.
According to NASA, 2019 was the second hottest year on record. The climate crisis has definitely been a point of discussion in the past year, with bushfires raging in different parts of the world, a failed UN climate summit, and Greta Thunberg's global Fridays for Future demonstrations. But how exactly have we got to this point?
This makes the 2019 ending the warmest 5-year period, 2015 to 2019, and the warmest decade. So this means that each decade since 1980s is warmer than the previous one. We have noticed many extreme events, heat waves, floods, that have impacted droughts, that have impacted people around the world in terms of migration of people because of drought, in terms of internal displacement because of floods, and in terms of mortality because of heat waves, such in Europe, in Asia, in North America. Wildfires have been also one of the most noticeable events during 2019, even in areas where fires are very rare, like in the Arctic region.
Let's have a look now at some other things that caught our eye on social media. People across social media have chipped in their versions of how they would hashtag seduce someone in 4 words. Mine would definitely be, let's go shopping now. Okay, don't judge me. While Bolton University's library shared on Twitter, we have many books. That one would definitely get my sister-in-law. And finally, let's watch Star Wars. This is for our beloved, very hardworking, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, to senior management, our program editor, Louis. As candidates fight to become the next U.S. president, memes continue to overtake the internet day by day. Michael Bloomberg was one of the latest stars in a meme that was shared across social media. But here's the twist. The official campaign Twitter page of the businessman named Team Bloomberg was the one to share the rather interesting meme. It's a plate of meatballs with the face of Bloomberg placed on one of them. Yeah, I know. I had trouble figuring out why that's even a meme in the first place. Music is an element that gets us in our groove and boosts our emotions to the max. And a recent survey showed that 71% of pet owners play music for their animals as well. Spotify now allows people to craft a playlist for you and your pet to enjoy together. All you have to do is pick your pet, write some details about him or her, add a name and photo, and finally, dance to the music.
Disney picked random weirdos and made them fight to the death.
Everyone most likely remembers Daniel Radcliffe from the wizarding world of Harry Potter, but it seems like that is going to change very soon. This is the newly released trailer of Gun Akimbo, starring Radcliffe. It's about how a nerdy video game developer's internet comments end with some deadly results. The movie is set to hit theaters on May 5th. Now, some of you might have heard about the very famous Chinese board game Go. You might have also heard of the legendary Go player Lee Sedol, who retired from his title of being the master of this board game. As for why he retired, well, I'll let Naveen explain.
Legendary Go player Lee Sedol, widely considered one of the world's best, just retired from the game, saying that powerful artificial intelligence programs such as AlphaGo can play the game at a level human players cannot. His reasons for throwing in the stones has reignited conversations about AI and what it means for us, as in all of us, humanity. So who exactly is Lee Sedol, and what is Go? It's a strategic board game, much like chess, with an estimated player base of more than 100 million people, making it one of the most popular in the world. The board is made up of a 19 by 19 square grid. Two players, black and white, battle it out for supremacy by capturing area on the board, which happens when you successfully surround an opponent or region. Once a piece is played, it cannot be moved, and at the end of the game, the territories are counted, and the player with more control over the board wins. The game itself is quite simple to understand, but once you sit down to play, you quickly realize how difficult it actually is and how many possible strategies you can employ. The sheer number of positions that can be played in the game are this many, to be exact, which is more than 300 times the potential positions in chess, and also more than the total number of atoms in the known universe. And Lee Sedol, well, he's considered one of the greatest players of all time. He's known for his aggressive and unconventional play styles and is regarded as a national icon in his home country, South Korea, where more than 8 million people play the game. He's been described as the Roger Federer of Go, with 18 international titles and 32 national ones under his belt, and has been one of the world's best for much of his 24-year-long career. In 2016, Lee accepted a challenge from Google's DeepMind lab to play against their AI program AlphaGo for a record-breaking $1 million deal. Leading up to the 5-match challenge, Lee was confident he would win, even going so far as to say that he wasn't just playing for himself and his country, but for all of humanity. The tournament against AlphaGo garnered much attention from the press, and more than 100 million people tuned in to watch the anticipated matchup. He eventually lost the tourney 4 games to 1, and despite apologizing to all those who supported him, the experience humbled him.
I have learned a lot through this experience. AlphaGo showed us that moves humans may have thought are creative were actually conventional. I think this will bring a new paradigm to Go.
But despite this, 3 years later, DeepMind's developers announced that the latest version of AlphaGo defeated the version that beat Sedol 100 games to 0. Soon after the announcement, Lee retired from the game. He dedicated his life to mastering, leaving us with some interesting questions.
With the debut of AI in Go games, I've realized that I'm not at the top even if I become #1 through frantic efforts. Even if I do become #1, there is an entity that cannot be defeated.
You see, for Sedol and the millions who play around the world, Go is more than just a simple board game, and treating it as such would do it a major disservice. It's widely considered to be the oldest continually played game in the world, with some sources dating its origins back to more than 4,000 years ago. But it is said to have been popularized during the Zhou dynasty, which ruled over much of China for most of the first millennium BCE. In fact, alongside calligraphy, traditional painting, and the guqin, an ancient string instrument, mastering Go was considered one of the 4 main accomplishments that defined a Chinese nobleman. And the sheer complexity of the game is why it's regarded as the holy grail for artificial intelligence developers worldwide. Some historians have said that the game is an abstract representation of war, while others link it to ancient Chinese cosmology, with the board and the pieces being metaphors for our relationship to the universe. And this is particularly poignant. For a top-ranking player such as Lee Sedol, who was a 9-dan professional, the highest rank a player can attain, it's clear that Go is intrinsic to how he defines himself and why his retirement is such a big deal. As artificial intelligence continues to breach new frontiers, its potential to excel and even surpass human ability is abundantly clear. And it's inevitable that this will likely lead to feelings of disappointment, loss of purpose, and inadequacy. In the case of Lee Sedol, we're talking about a person who has refined their art to an almost peerless level and is now equating his own accomplishments to those of machines. So, did Lee Sedol retire from Go because of the pressure to redefine himself? And as coexistence with AI becomes more integral to how we live, perhaps Lee's retirement is not so much about how we define artificial intelligence or what it's becoming. Perhaps it's an important reminder of how we choose to define ourselves.
Let's go around the world now for some other stories you need to know this Thursday. Wikipedia is now officially up and running in Turkey. The Constitutional Court released a detailed explanation on Wednesday of its December ruling, which stated the more than 2-year-old ban violated the rights of freedom of expression. The online encyclopedia was blocked in April 2017 after articles on the website blamed Turkey for being affiliated with various terrorist groups. Members of 47 Brazilian indigenous tribes called out far-right President Jair Bolsonaro for destroying the Amazon forest they depend on. Bolsonaro says the tribes have too much land and wants to use the reservations for commercial mining and agriculture. Bolsonaro aims at integrating indigenous people into the Brazilian economy and society by taking the land they very much depend on away from them. Are boomers finally becoming self-aware? That just might be the case, as the phrase OKBOOMER led a discussion in the US Supreme Court after Chief Justice John Roberts Jr. used the meme as an example to discuss when someone crosses the line when it comes to age discrimination within a workplace. The discussion came up when they questioned whether a federal employee would or wouldn't get career advancements according to their age. Now, it seems like scientists have created what they describe as a living machine, or in other words, a robot that is indeed alive. The process involves frog embryos and bodies designed by computer models. Watch this for more details. And finally, on Thursday's Animals Doing Stuff, we'd like to introduce you to a very hungry and, at the same time, a very punctual doggo. Her name is Subway Sally, and she waits in front of the same Subway every night to be fed by its very generous customers and employees. She definitely loves her meat and won't be lured into going anywhere else other than that specific Subway where she is sure to get a treat.
I got her some chicken.
Well, that's all from the Newsfeed team. Reach out to me with your questions, comments, complaints, and suggestions at @fnan_han. You'll find us 24/7 on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to see our channel. See you tomorrow.